I'm Suzanne Smiley with AtlasRFIDstore.com, and we're here at RFID Journal Live 2016. I'm here with Travis Deyle. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. And you work with what company now?
Yeah, so I'm with a sort of stealthy robotics company called Cobalt Robotics.
Okay.
We're still in a bit of stealth mode, so we're not talking too much about what we're doing. It's relatively unrelated to RFID, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, he's going to talk to us a little bit about robotics, the robotics industry, and RFID, and how RFID is kind of changing what they're seeing in their normal day. So talk us through that, and talk us through what you're seeing with the robotics industry and how RFID is coming in and making changes and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So to step back first a bit, this all sort of started in sort of the mid-2000s when I was doing academic research on robots operating in real homes.
Yeah.
And so we were augmenting the environment with RFID tags so that these robots could do new capabilities that couldn't be done before.
Okay.
So like object recognition, computer vision just wasn't there.
Right.
And so being able to add a bit of augmentation in the form of one of these tags was pretty compelling. And so what that allowed us to do was to go into like a home, tag a bunch of items, and then quickly inventory and know all the items that are there, what the robot can do with it, what it looks like in other sensors, things like that. And what we're seeing is that those capabilities are now, on a commercial side, becoming really viable. And so you see companies like RF Spot, like Metro Labs, Keon, companies that are here at the conference that are starting to do tagging items in warehouses, retail stores, apparel, and being able to go in and inventory and locate tags. And so it's a pretty compelling capability that people are sort of catching on to right now.
Yeah, and I've actually seen a couple of, I've been to the Keon booth, I've seen all kinds of retail situations, but I've also seen some robots around here as well. Have you seen the orange one that's rolling around?
I have, yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Yes.
I saw the Metro Labs one as well. I know that they're deployed in, I think they said over 250 stores at this point. So
really?
It's pretty compelling, actually.
Yeah. So how does RFID, does it affect your daily life when you're working? I mean, I know you can't get too far into it, but...
Yeah, I think for us, this was more of a research topic at the time, and there's actually a big trend going on even there still, where tags are going from just being ID only to having sensing capabilities.
Right.
And so that's companies, like Farsens on the long-range tags, the WISP as an academic platform out of University of Washington.
Okay.
And this is pretty compelling for robotics as well.
Really?
Because now, instead of just tagging something and having ID, you can tag something and have the ability to take direct physical measurements there on an object.
Right.
Or in the case of the research we did, we would deploy these small tags out into places like agriculture fields to take direct measurements of soil moisture.
Right.
Or to be able to disperse water tags out on the water and measure water quality or salinity.
Right.
And so being able to fly a mobile robot over top of these tags, take measurements, is a pretty unique capability.
Yeah.
But it really all gets back down to the difference between having static fixed infrastructure, so whether it's a portal or mounting readers on the ceiling, a robot in effect gives you an infinite number of vantage points by which to try to read the tags.
Right.
And unlike a static system, you always have this extra option of like moving to collect more information.
Right.
So if you don't get a read, you can move closer and try again.
Exactly.
And that's something that, you just don't get from static readers.
All right, so please say there is some sort of drones going on in this situation, because I've seen a couple here, and I know all the guys have been talking about it, and everyone, the big keyword right now is drones.
Sure.
So please say you've done some drone work with RFID.
Yes, we have.
Awesome.
So some of the work that we presented, we had a white paper that we released about a year ago where we were using a drone to measure these sensor tags. So again, it was out in like fields, tags up in trees, tags attached to buildings.
Yeah.
And the drone would have a reader on board. We had just one of the, Thing Magic M6 readers.
Right.
And it would fly up and be able to take measurements from these sensor tags.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it gets back again to the point of, you're carrying the reader, the sensor suite with you, and able to get readings in places where normally you couldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all sorts of readings too, because we didn't even see many of the sensor tags coming up. I hadn't seen them until 2016, but I know they've been out there.
They have, yeah.
Yeah, so now we've seen stuff like the Smart Track, the sensor dog bone tag that's out, and we're actually going to go talk to them in a little while, and it's so crazy what you can do and all the different uses for it. I mean, temperature, humidity, all that kind of stuff. It's I think it's just absolutely changing what we can do with RFID right now.
Yeah, and if you think about the tags, it's fundamentally power harvesting, communications, and then along with that, you get general purpose computation and the ability to do general purpose sensing.
Right.
And so this, harkens all the way back to like the WISP platform, which I think was also like 2005, 2006 timeframe.
Long time ago.
So a while ago. But now we're starting to see those become commercialized too.
Really?
Whether it's like the Farsons tags, or even some of these other guys over here have them as well.
Right.
PowerCast being another good example. Phase 4 has a bunch. So yeah, we're starting to see unique applications for them, and I think it's pretty interesting on the robotics side. It's really being able to add intelligence to any object in the environment.
Exactly, and you're gonna be able to start seeing these like in everyday life, I feel like, as well. Like around your house, like you're saying, but around anyone's house.
Yeah,
so
exactly
taking
right.
the temperature, like the temperature, the thermostat, the refrigerator, anything like that, we'll all of a sudden start seeing RFID in them, and then maybe robots one day.
Yeah. I think, our vision for how this might work with robots is you go to, say, like Target and you buy a robot.
Okay.
And at the same time, you buy a set of labels, a set of tags.
Right.
That you can go home and apply to a bunch of things. And now the robot has these capabilities right out of the box, where it can go and pick up tagged objects off your floor and clean up, or it can unload the dishwasher, because it no longer has to rely on the fact that you need perfect object recognition or perfect computer vision. You have this little bit of augmentation that provides a lot of capability.
Okay, so when can we start seeing this in our house? Because that's what I'm wondering. That's what everybody, when they see this video, is going to be wondering, is when is a robot going to be doing my dishes?
So the dishes part is harder.
Is it harder than unloading?
There's some nuance there, because you actually need robot arms, and those are very expensive.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to things like the Roomba, you already have it.
Exactly.
You can already buy it for your house.
Right.
It relies on a lot of other robot technologies. So I think it's probably coming, but it's a ways away.
It's a ways away.
Yeah.
All right, well, I did see that robot over there with the M6 on the Thing Magic, the drone actually up there. So hopefully that has been used by you before.
Not that particular drone, no, but the one we did was a couple generations. The thing is, the drone industry is moving really, really fast.
Yes, definitely.
And so I think last year there was something like $700 million in VC funding for drone companies. So it's growing massively. But what you're seeing is there's other companies, like in some over here, that are using drones to do yard management. So to track trucks coming and going off of a yard, or to track pipes or large slabs of steel that are on a yard.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of unique applications. Most of them are domain specific.
Right.
And so that's what we're really starting to see. And so it's more about educating people about the capabilities of RFID, whether it's standard ID tags versus these ones that are specially designed to be on metal. Or the sensor ones.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just getting more and more complex, but in a way making your life less complex, I feel like.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you for talking to us. Is there anything else you want to add before we head out into the giant floor today?
No, not really. I think it's really exciting to see a lot of the new developments. So.
Yeah, it really is. There's so many people here this year, so it's great to see the RV industry expanding, and all these people here and all these booths and new technology. So thank you, Travis, and we will see you hopefully next year.
Awesome.